Hi Rich, great, awesome work. I'm watching your animation and it's looking awesome, really fluid. Everything feels really nice. Um, the strength, everything feels really good. Just a few things. First thing here, just be careful in the blink because you need some ease out so it doesn't happen over one frame because right now it feels a bit poppy because it just feels boom that the sorry that the eyes close really fast over just one frame. So you need at least one more frame to show the ease out to the blink, how the lids and eyebrows start to slow down, to move down and then um, close. Then here see how the body is moving forward. This is great because you have the anticipation. The arm is moving back, the body is moving forward, but then you have one frame here where you can see how the body moves back, and it's just one frame, so it feels like a pop because the body is moving forward and the head is moving forward, and then one frame moves back and then moves forward again, so it feels a bit like a pop because it's moving back forth. And also, if you want to punch really hard, you want to create the inertia first with the body and then punch with the arm. So technically here, you want to keep moving the body forward so that um, so that keeps moving forward, so that we create first the inertia with the body, big spacing, and then boom, you throw the arm. But almost when the body has reached his extreme pose in the location axis, like he's moved to the extreme, then you throw the arm. So you create the inertia with the body that the arm is also using, and then as the body reaches his final frames of the movement, boom, you throw the arm to reach to have maximum strength, maximum power. Um, also here, I think could be better if you drag the arm. See how the arm, I don't know if it's the perspective, but here the arm seems that is straight already. So it almost feels like he's punching with the arm straight, like he's just moving the shoulder to punch. Maybe it's just a perspective thing, but I would like to see maybe a bit more of a elbow there to show that he's actually straightening. Sorry, the mouse, to show that he's straightening the arm. Um, that he's straightening the arm on the last frame to show more strength. And also be careful because if you drag the wrist here, see how it's moving down, 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 and then boom, moves up and starts to move up with the body. So it depends. If you're sorry, my throat. If you're going to use this as a standalone animation, then it's different. But if you're going to, I don't know if you want him to actually punch things. But basically, what I wanted to say is, um, here maybe don't have the arm move up so fast. So he's throwing the arm down, a bit down in the angle down, and then it moves up with the body. Almost quite rigid with the body. So maybe create some overlap, keep the arm lower in this frame. See, here's the wrist. Well, keep the wrist around this frame, and then you move the arm. You can move the arm up, but keep the wrist there because he just punched. So instead of just punching a bit, like it's not punching down, but the inertia is a bit on a downward movement. So don't make the arm as a whole move up the next frame because it feels a bit poppy there as well. It's really, really subtle. But mm, also, maybe I like the subtle here you have the with the body, but maybe reduce it not as much. Maybe here um, the maximum point of the body movement. Don't keep him moving to the right, because it feels a bit um, it doesn't feel as sharp. Because he's a professional, I think he should be more of a sharp movement. You have a bit of subtle, but don't keep him moving, dragging for a few frames and then anticipate back, because it feels a bit out of place. All these um, frames where he's just settling with the, yeah, all this part. I don't know, it doesn't fit right to me. Okay, great arc down, great, I love it. As you can see here, I draw, because here that's the thing. Is he punching something here, or is he punching something here? That's the question. Because if he's like a professional sharp and he's just showcasing his abilities, maybe the punch is here because he's like boom, professional sharp. Uh, you have the you have the few frames great of settle after the punch, which is great. So he's showing that he's sharp. But if he's punching, if he's punching here, the issue here is that he's actually punching with a straight arm, because the arm is pretty much straight at this point. So he's actually punching with the body. Imagine just putting your arm straight and just punching, moving the body forward. So that's basically what's kind of happening. If the punch is happening here, he's just punching with the body and the arm is straight. So it feels kind of odd. So yeah, what I will do in this case is just don't have the arm straight as much. Just keep the arm a bit bent. So boom, we see uh, the arm straighten on the last frame of impact. Boom. Maybe you can even keep it bent even more, so we see even a stronger punch. We see how the arm straightens a lot on the last frame. Boom, boom. Yeah, something like that. Okay. Um, what else? Oh, really nice line of action, by the way. Here, I would create maybe a bit of overlap. See how the torso and the body moves, like torso and the head moves quite rigidly. See how they move together. Maybe all this part, although he's trying to be sharp, is a martial artist. Maybe rotate the head a little to forward, so we create a tiny bit of overlap on the head, not too much because you don't want to over exaggerate it, but just to add to the a bit of drag to the head, so it doesn't feel like it's moving with the body so rigidly, just a tiny bit. And same here. See how the head rotate and the neck rotates back on this frame? It's rotating, sorry, it's rotating back on this frame. But the thing is, the body is also finishing the movement on this frame, the movement back. So it feels like boom, the suddenly boom, the body and the head just snap back. So maybe delay the rotation of the head by one frame or two frames, so that the body reaches the body reaches the extreme pose, and then the head finish the rotation up, so it feels a bit more overlapped. It doesn't have to be too much, but just a tiny bit of overlap I think would help a lot. um, There's something here that caught my attention, is that all this rotation on the wrist, um, although it's nice, the settle, it feels a bit weird because after he punches all this rotation on the wrist, um, I don't know, it felt odd to me. It felt too isolated for me. So maybe I would rotate the wrist up from this frame. I would start to rotate the wrist so that after this pose the rotation on the wrist is minimal. So maybe like this, like in this frame the rotation of the wrist is kind of like this. So we see a very minimal rotation after he punches. um, Also, I feel to sell it stronger. See how the arm is bent like this, and then in the next frame is actually bent in the opposite direction, and then he's punching like this. So I think if you have actually the arm like this and he's punching down, I think it's a great moment to emphasize uh, this angle, because then you keep the angle the same. So he's punching up from, he's punching downwards a little bit. So he's like this. He keeps moving. Maybe you can have even uh don't move the arm that much on this frame, so you have a bigger frame of impact where the arm, you really show that the arm straightens on the last frame. Because right now, oh yeah, it feels like it's straightening, but we don't see the bend as much. So showing how the arm bends, sorry, straightens on the last frame, showing boom how the impact happens on the last frame, I think would be cool. What else? Wow, this is great. I mean, mm, the anticipation, the change of feet. Just be careful here. The um the angle feels a bit forced here, so maybe you would want to add some rotation to the foot so it doesn't um, bend as much, but just a subtle thing. And really great showing this part, how he pushes himself with the leg here, really great overlap. Everything feels very well done. Yeah, it's awesome. Really great job with her. Just one thing here. See how the head moves to the right, then to the left, and then to the right again. So to polish that, um, it also feels kind of like a pop when you watch it. It's really subtle, but I would adjust that so that maybe see how you have the frame here. Then if this was before, maybe you can have it here, and then see how the you have margin to keep. So maybe yeah, maybe you can have the head um, around here. So um, you keep the head moving to the right all these frames to create a smoother transition on the head. Because right now when you watch it, it doesn't it doesn't it's not too obvious, but when you watch it, you see something like "Ta-da-da," something out there that just catches the attention a little bit. So maybe you can smooth out the transition of the head. Would be great, the path of action. And then finally, here as he settles, see how the torso and the head as well feel quite rigid. Although you added some squash and stretch, which is great, but maybe here as he see how the weight is here, then the weight is slowed down, is stopped by the legs, and then here you could have a bit of rotation to the torso and head um, forward to show um, how the legs stopping the movement is causing the torso and the head to rotate forward as a settle to the impact. So it's like a when you have a car crash or something like that. You know what I mean? Like boom, you see the body and the head overlap forward, kind of on a whip-like motion, and all this part, boom, see the head and the body doesn't have to be too much, but just showing a bit more rotation as the legs stop the movement, boom, and then see kind of like see how these frames the body stops and then moves up again. Maybe if you rotated all these frames, mm, sorry. So it sorry, I'm with the mouse, so my drawings are really harsh. So basically, what I mean is that you connect the rotation forward here, so that after this point he starts to rotate back again, and boom, you connect it with this part, and then at the end, just maybe a tiny thing, you could have the this arm straighten a bit, as you have it here. Maybe not that much, but yeah, maybe just a tiny bit. So this part you straighten the arm a little bit, all this transition, you straighten. So he's moving the arm back. So instead of keeping it up, you keep the arm down, all this part, and then the last frames you bend it. Because right now you see all this part, the arms are completely bent and they just move on the from the shoulders, but they don't seem to have any overlap on the elbows. So adding at least in one of them, so you don't lose the tension, but adding on one of them that kind of overlap where the elbow straightens, where the arm straightens, and then as he reaches the final pose, the the arm bends again. I think would be a nice touch, and also overlapping touch, so that he doesn't finish the 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 animation like that all together, but you have the body reaching the pose, and then you have a couple of frames where the arm finishes the bend. So yeah, man, that was it pretty much. Really awesome job. Really great job. Um, so keep up the good work, and can't wait to keep seeing your animations. So great job.